So at the time, Jared and I were just buddies.
So Shannon and I were just
I make the distinction to say that we genuinely never hung out unless we were going to be having sex. And he invited me out to a club that night. Now, I don't know if I would have usually said yes, but I couldn't have sex with him anyways because I was on my period, so I thought, why not do a club instead?
It was a good time. We all went out. My friend was DJing. We had a good time. And Jen, what she doesn't tell you was she was acting like she was drunk. She was acting like she was drinking, but she really wasn't. At the time, I didn't know she didn't drink.
I think his friend was DJing. It was just a great vibe. We were grinding up on each other, and it was just getting really freaky in the club. And I love dry humping, so I was having a grand old time.
I mean, you know what's gonna happen at the end of the day when we were really, really into it.
Towards the end of the night, I was kind of thinking like, when do I break off and go home by myself? But unbeknownst to me, Jared called an Uber for both of us.
So we hopped in the Uber, we're on the way to the crib, we get to the house.
And now I'm like at a real big fork in the road because I know not only am I on my period, but I have all the period things going on. Like my area is a mess, my underwear selection's a mess. We just came from a club and I was going hammer at dancing, so I smelled like BO. So I just was not feeling sexy at all. But again, the sexy vibes were so strong. So we get to the front door and I say to Jared, like, oh, like, I think I want to like just get some steps in real quick. Why don't you take the elevator? Because I knew in this building, the elevator was hella broke down. I knew it would take a longer time and I knew I could like book it up those stairs faster and give myself some time.
She runs into the bathroom, starts doing all these things. I'm hearing all this commotion. So I walk in there and she's like mid-shave, things everywhere. She's like, I can't have sex right now. Well, I'm not ready. We weren't supposed to have sex today. And plus I'm on my period, so we can't.
One razor in one hand, one wipe in the other hand, deodorant, and then like powder, and then an underwear, like all the things. I'm trying to like pull my shit together in T-minus 30 seconds. And then Jared comes to the door and I think he heard all of the ruckus and he was like,
what type of little boys are you messing with that is gonna stop a good night because you are on your period? I told her, look, go get the black sheets. Plus, I got my Red Wings a long time ago. I ain't scared of a period.
And he said, do you have black sheets? And I was like, yeah, I do actually. He said, where are they? I pointed them out. He said, cool, I'm gonna get the black sheets, you put all this shit down and meet me back on your bed. And then we just had like...
And we had good sex that night.
All of the sex, like all of the things that you love about sex, we had. And I was on my period. And that might have been my first time doing that. It was pretty great.
Period sex? Yeah, for sure. It's Flag Day. But it depends on the weather.
Go for it. You know, honestly, there's nothing wrong with it. And a little blood ain't never hurt nobody.
How well do we know each other?
Oh, I don't give a fuck. If she's good and I'm good, we're both comfortable, there's still ways to make it happen.
I ain't gonna lie. We all been there. I'm in love with it though.
I got my Red Wings a long time ago. Ain't nobody scared of no period sex.
Today, we're gonna talk about sex, obviously, but a specific kind of sex that some of you love and some of you won't go near.
It's unnecessary. Like, what is so urgent that we have to do it in the 3 to 5 days that I'm not available?
Yes, period sex. And I am partnering with Laylo and Intimina to bring you a short but meaty talk about period sex, which, as the name alludes, refers to sex that goes down when one of the parties involved is menstruating. Now, if you are a part of this camp,
A little blood ain't never hurt nobody.
you might be wondering, why on earth would people do that? And so I'm gonna break it down for you. For one, a lot of people are hornier on their period because low estrogen levels can lead to higher testosterone levels, and high testosterone levels can lead to a higher sex drive. Also, low levels of progesterone can increase sexual sensitivity. Now, if you relate to this goodness, then I have to tell you about Intimina's Ziggy Cup. The Ziggy Cup is a revolutionary menstrual cup that allows for mess-free sex and provides up to 8 hours of complete comfort. To insert it, you pinch the rim together, then slide it into your vagina until it reaches your cervix. It's soft, it's flexible, it sits over your cervix, unlike other menstrual cups which block penetration, hence why this is the perfect period sex solution. Another reason people like period sex is because it can make your period more pleasurable. Pleasure can reduce pain because sex, specifically sex that includes orgasm, can alleviate pain associated with PMS. And if you're going to devote yourself to pleasure, why not make it premium by using 𝐏𝐬𝐢, which is a sonic clitoral massager. The 𝐏𝐬𝐢 produces gentle waves and suction. The design features a soft, deep, and large mouth that cups the clit and will transport you wherever you want to go, as fast as you want to get there. And a third reason that some people love period sex is that other people don't. The fact that it's taboo and off limits to some makes it even more enticing to others. Scientists have found that an attraction to risk has a strong link to pleasure. People have higher dopamine levels when they're doing the things that they think they're not supposed to be doing. So, not only does your body get the physical pleasure from sex, but the risk and reward center in the brain also activates to give an additional pleasurable feeling in the mind, and thus more bang for the body. On the flip side, if none of this was news to you because you've been down with period sex, you might actually be wondering the exact opposite. Why doesn't everyone love it? And let me give you some reasons. Number one, period sex carries a slightly higher risk of STD and bacterial transmission. The theory is that when a person is menstruating, their cervix is slightly more open, which might make that person more prone to infection. Also, bacteria's 3 favorite adjectives are warm, wet, and dense, which are also 3 adjectives that perfectly describe menstruation discharge. And 2, for a lot of people, being on their period just takes them out. The only thing on their brain is heating pads and painkillers, and the last thing they can think about is a Marvin Gaye playlist and a 𝐏𝐬𝐢. Because let's face it, sore breasts and backaches and bloating and fatigue and cramps can be natural adversaries to freaky feelings. But like I said earlier, orgasm can actually help to alleviate symptoms of PMS. So, look, however you feel about period sex, you're definitely not wrong. But if you are a part of the camp who isn't into it, I want to talk to you a little bit more. Not to change your mind necessarily, but instead to give you information to open it up a bit more. And I might be biased, because like I said at the top of this video, I've had some incredible experiences while on my period being sexual, and I also don't like the idea that those of us who do menstruate should spend a big chunk of our life not considering and being indulgent in our sexual needs and fantasies and desires. But that to be said, if you don't like period sex, it also might be that you don't realize that there are some pros that actually help you to have better sex because you're on your period, not just in spite of being on your period. So here we go. 3 final tips. Reason number 1 why period sex might lead to your best sex yet is because it's a great time to try and squirt. You know that bloating that a lot of us hate? You can actually turn it into something that you love because the extra water retained in your pelvic region places additional pressure on your G-spot. And you know what that means. The G-spot is located about 2 inches inside of the vaginal canal and towards the belly button. You can try locating the G-spot by feeling around for a rigid texture on the interior wall. Again, that's pressing towards the belly button. This texture is similar to the ridges on the roof of your mouth. To stimulate the G-spot, 1, the body needs to be aroused, allowing time for the clitoris to become swollen and erect and the vaginal canal to become longer, looser, and wetter. 2, a best practice way of stimulating an aroused G-spot is with your fingers using the come here motion. Also, important to note that for many people, G-spot stimulation really hits when it's also coupled with stimulation of the exterior part of the clitoris. This is actually because many experts believe that the G-spot is just the clitoris, but you access it from the inside in a different way. And if squirting on your period sounds like a terrible idea, just remember that female ejaculate comes out of the urethral area, not the vagina. Reason number 2 that period sex can lead to your best sex is because it gets us out of our sexual acts routine. And those of us in long-term relationships know exactly what that is. We can tend to start having sex like we're doing the Macarena. Period sex encourages and in some ways forces us to get out of our routine. And I know for myself, this is the time of month that I really focus on giving great head. Now it's your turn. Tell me your true feelings about period sex and don't hold back. Also, if you're someone who is pro period sex, don't just tell us why. Please tell us how. Give us all the tips. Let's make this comment section right here a pro tutorial section of all of our wet dreams. And speaking of pros, if you want the ultimate period sex pack, Lalo presents the 𝐞𝐸∞ Bundle, which includes the Sela and the Ziggy Cup. Use my promo code BOOTYBUNDLE to get 20% off all full price items, including 𝐞𝐸∞ Bundle. Now this code expires in just a couple of months, so do yourself a favor, scroll down to the info box and tap that bad boy so you can get all of yours all the time for less.
Don't lie, I make you look better when I'm by your side. Take me out for a drive, yeah, 'cause you're my favorite ride. I take you up and down that coaster, got you on fire like a supernova, yeah.